This is TWiT.
Curtis, just give a little bit of a summary of what you saw and maybe some of the themes, and then same thing for Mo, and we could just kind of get into it.
Well, I think that in terms of the broad themes, one of the things that I heard a lot of people talking about was the level of the conversations happening at Black Hat and at DEF CON. Now, in years past, the breakdown was pretty consistent. Black Hat was where the CISOs went. DEF CON is where the people who were hands-on went. But this year, there was an awful lot of hands-on, deep technical content happening at Black Hat, and there was a lot of information going on at DEF CON that was hacking related, but hacking in the classic sense of finding great tips, great techniques. It was not just security related. Now, within those broad things, I saw a number of things. The whole issue of software-defined radios, wireless, was huge, both in terms of Wi-Fi and cellular, and, if you will, public service or amateur band radio. All of that, a lot of interesting stuff was going on. Heard a lot of talk about AI. I spent some time in the AI village at DEF CON, and I'm going to be writing about that in the future, looking at AI both from the offensive and the defensive point of view. And then something that was really interesting, you know, as a journalist in the security field, I truly love the gift that Intel has given us all through the Spectre meltdown family of side channel vulnerabilities. But the fact is that when you talk to security experts, they're just not that worried about them. Why? Well, it's one of two things. Either because things like NetSpectre are so doggone slow. I mean, frankly, by the time you could exfiltrate an entire encryption key, it's time for that encryption key to roll over. And next, because as any number of both offensive and defensive hackers have told me, anything you can get via Spectre and Meltdown, you can get a lot more easily and cheaply through other means. So just all kinds of interesting stuff going on. But once again, as is always the case in these conferences, I was terribly impressed by just the sheer level of sharing that goes on. People are so open, so willing to share their research. It really is the kind of thing that makes you feel better about our species, even if there are times when the individual conversations are scaring the living crap out of you.
Right. Now, Heather, what kind of themes did you see at both of these?
Well, and I had a different perspective because, of course, Curtis was there to attend, and I was working at Black Hat, so I was behind the scenes. So by the time the briefings started, my time was actually sort of winding down. The network has been up. We've pretty much pounded on it, and the traffic amount traffic that we have eases up quite a bit. So I was able to pop into some of the briefings, but by then I'm also pretty exhausted because I'll have been in Vegas, I think by that time, 10 days. The briefings that I went into this time, one of the things that I've developed an interest in is in the industrial control systems and industrial control gateway vulnerabilities. And so I got to see a couple of those briefings that were not only really good, but they did some live demos of a model. In one of them, they had a model dam that they then hacked the control system for it and flooded a valley in front of everybody. Between that and of course, the voting booth village at DEF CON, and this was my first DEF CON, so I did get to do that. You leave uplifted because of the people and how open and generous they are with their time and information, but also pretty doggone terrified about, you know, the true problems that we're facing.